coming in number 96, we have Brandon Scherff, right guard, Washington Redskins. You know, before you think that my list is some MLB All-Star game and there has to be a representative from every team, that's absolutely not true. There didn't have to be a Redskin, but Scherff was worthy of a spot here, no doubt. And hopefully, if you have your doubts now, then I'll convince you otherwise by the end of this video. First things first, when I want to talk about Scherff, it's his physicality. You know, he's not the biggest, he's not the fastest, but man, when you look at what he's able to do with these two cinder blocks that he calls hands, he might be one of the strongest. Like, just look at his punch here and his hand placement and just the displacement that he gets on Ed Oliver on this little inside running play. Just look at him absolutely wipe him off the face of the earth. It's just beautiful stuff. You know, when you think of any real running play, you can typically afford yourself either driving out backwards off the ball or driving him horizontally because the running back will be able to make a cut off your block. Well, what about, you know, there should be a third option for just absolutely eviscerating a guy and taking him out of the play completely as soon as the ball is snapped, you know, because that's what he does here. Now we're playing 10 on 11 football. It's just great stuff. And it's plays like these that Scherff makes on a regular basis that really allows running backs to bang those big runs in right behind him. And, you know, speaking of that, you're going to see it right here. I have one against the Panthers. That previous one was for a nice little first down. Well, this one's for a nice little touchdown. Again, so look at how he leverages this inside hand and strong arms his defenders out of their gap. That's just beautiful. And, you know, you think of a defender's job is to disrupt the offensive line. Well, the offensive line's job is really take them out of their gaps and open holes for your running back. And who does it better than Scherff? Obviously a couple guys, but not many, you know. And you might say, like, oh, is he just a good run blocker then? Well, no, absolutely not. He's one of the league's premier pass blockers from the guard position. In the last 2 years per PFF, in over 1,000 snaps, he's only allowed 2 sacks. And I see a reason why here. Obviously, he's going up against 2 fantastic players, number 52 and number 96. We know who they are, Akeem Hicks, Khalil Mack. And just look at how he plays like a pinball in there, bouncing from Mack to Hicks to Mack, because, you know, he knows that your number one job as a guard on a pass play, any pass play, is to maintain the depth of that pocket. You know, you're supposed to keep guys on the line of scrimmage. And what you have here is they're doing some zone blocking scheme. So the center has A gap, he has B gap, Morgan Moses has C gap. Well, what happens is, you know, he sees right off the bat, boom, the 3-tech Akeem Hicks is crossing his face. When somebody crosses your face, what's that mean? It means somebody else is probably coming. You know, they're probably doing a whole slant in that direction. And guess what? You have Khalil Mack, one of the best players in the entire league, coming right at you. What does Scherff do? He keeps that hand in there to make sure the center is able to get over to Hicks, and then he just brings it to Mack, and then out of the corner of his eye, while he knocks Khalil Mack off the line of scrimmage for a second, he realizes, okay, Akeem Hicks is giving the center some work. What am I going to do? He's going to slide back in there with his feet, get a little shoulder, get Hicks not necessarily out of the play, but he helps create more of a throwing lane. And then just as Khalil Mack is about to come up, go back and hit him too. It's just great stuff. You know, I put awareness on the slide, but you could call that anything. You could call that footwork, you could call that power, you could call that whatever you want. And really, next up, I wanted to get into one of the main criticisms of Scherff's game. You know, a lot of people think that he's only good kind of in that phone booth where he's either blocking his A gap or he's blocking his B gap. Well, that's not necessarily true. You know, he's certainly not the best athlete in the world, and he's not the most agile guy in space, but he can get the job done. You know, so don't get it twisted. There's a lot of plays where he is just doing a very solid job. So I wanted to put some plays in here where, no, maybe he's not making crazy highlight pancake blocks, but he is going to be allowing highlight plays to kind of come in behind him a little bit. So here's one where he's just the play side trapping guard. There's nobody right there immediately on the line of scrimmage, so he wraps it up, and he really opens up that alley to where if anyone else was able to get their backside cutoffs, this play could have ripped. You know, and it's just solid plays like these where he does what he's supposed to do. He levels that defensive back and opens up the alley to the best that he can for the play. Because not every play is going to be like this next one here. You know, that last one we saw, nobody else did their job. Well, Scherff's going to make sure that the play gets done here. You want to talk about kind of that bowling ball or pinball mentality where he's just going to bounce from pin to pin and hit anything in his sight. Well, that's what he does here, clearing out space on the screen. You know, Fred Warner kind of slips off his block. Well, Scherff's not going to have any of that. Nope. Get him out of play. Sherman, get him out of the play. and boom, easy first down. And no, is that some crazy highlight play? Well, no, not necessarily for him. He didn't have game-changing blocks on either of those guys, but he hit both of them and cleared a lane that wouldn't have been cleared otherwise. So it's really good stuff. And I have another one. I call this one him being the lead blocker. It's not much different from the last two, besides the fact that he's going to be pulling backside now. So he has a further way to go. But here he's going up against Luke Kuechly. We know what Kuechly brings, and boom, finds his guy, the hole, and Darius Geis is off to the races. Huge gain, really off the back of what Scherff did. So the one criticism I want to give Scherff, because this is the one thing that was kind of holding me back in putting him up there in my top 100, it's this. It's the, okay, I made my block, and now let's walk. Let's watch the play. And he does that a lot. And if I had to offer one, if people want to say mobility is his biggest flaw, I'm going to say the effort, from my perspective, is his biggest flaw. And I get it. He's playing in Washington. He's probably not super motivated being, a last place team, but you still got to hustle and make plays. You see the other offensive linemen doing it. You see some tight ends, fullbacks really running downfield, trying to make those last touchdown blocks if they even need to, but Scherff's just walking to the play. That's my criticism of him. That got on my nerves of watching him on film. And really, if there was anything that took him out of the list, it would have been that. But, man, when you watch some of these pass sets, he comes right back in because just look at what he's able to do here, and just the smoothness that he has in transitioning from his guy to the other guy in the twist, and you see his footwork. So boom, first step, he's kick sliding out to the right, but then he sees that his man's kind of slanting in. So what's he do? Power step back in, because he doesn't know what's going on. It's hard to tell if that DT is going away to the center or if he's going to stay there, but he senses that he's kind of soft. It almost looks like a mush rush of sorts. So Scherff gets his head around and gets a good enough block on Khalil Mack. And he kick slides back out there and covers him up. And it's a lot of plays like these where, I showed it earlier when I called it awareness. Well, here's another example where it's his footwork, and here's another one. You just watch the smoothness that he has in transitioning from those kick slides to power steps. It's really smooth. And when you think of somebody of his size, it's great stuff, because when you're going up against D linemen who you have a 30, 40, sometimes 50-pound advantage on, they're going to have the speed advantage, and these Jets D linemen here certainly do. But Scherff is still able to get in and out of his sets and pass guys where they need to go, use those strong hands, use that mind, and really win the rep. When he is blocking guys one-on-one, though, if they're going to try and bull rush him, as I said, Scherff is one of the stronger guys in the league, but it's not only his strength, it's also his technique, and it's his hand placement. Look at how Scherff, just off the snap, fires this right hand into Ed Oliver and just controls him after that, because really the man who gets their hands inside the other and controls the chest is going to win the rep most of the time. Well, just watch how easily Scherff is able to do that. And then from there, it's just boom, just mirror him. Fight those counters. Ed Oliver's kind of raw, so he wasn't countering much, but he fights whatever he has off, And really, Ed Oliver's not able to get that hand off at all. Scherff's just able to hold it firm, and that's where I talk about the strength. No, he's not pancaking guys every play, but it's plays like that where he is winning because of his upper body strength. And I apologize for keep going back to really Scherff's footwork here, but look at what he's able to do on this late developing twist. Now this linebacker's going to come up, he's going to set to him, then he's going to go across his face, and he's going to set to this D lineman. And it's so smooth. It's just so smooth. Apologies for that. But look at how he sets out, comes back, sets in, takes over the man. What could have been potentially play-breaking blitz if he sticks on that first guy too long, allows the other DT to get a free lane to the quarterback, or if he doesn't see that blitzing linebacker, that could be an easy sack, easy pressure, and you don't have these 6 points on the board. So no, is Scherff getting the highlight plays? No, as I said, I'm going to keep saying it, but he's often one kind of behind them, behind the scenes that people don't notice. And really lastly, what I wanted to bring up was his ability to anchor, because after you have good feet, after you have good hands, sometimes guys will still get into you a little bit and they'll try and bull rush you. And, that's where Scherff's lower body strength really comes into play. I talked about his upper body strength earlier. Watch him here going up against Christian Wilkins. And, as I said, your job is to maintain at that line of scrimmage, the depth of the pocket to the best of your ability. Well, watch how Scherff is able to just absorb the bull rush and sink his hips, flop back, and really regain the leverage in the situation where Wilkins initially had him on the jewel. We'll see it again from the wide view. Like, watch, see how he doesn't get clean hand placement. See how his hands are up here on Wilkins. He doesn't have that clean placement in Wilkins' chest. So Wilkins is actually going to be the one more in control of the rep. But watch what Scherff does here. Boom. He takes two what are called flops back, where he takes both feet off the ground and, like I said, sinks his hips, regains leverage, and really just anchors himself in the ground. And what happens after that? Wilkins goes absolutely nowhere, and Scherff takes back that rep. Not only is Scherff good at that pre-play awareness aspect of it, not only is he good at that early play, that quick footwork, that quick change of direction ability, but he's also good at kind of that mid-play aspect when things might be going south and maybe he didn't get the best hand placement. Maybe he doesn't have the cleanest footwork. He's able to recover, anchor, and win the rep, just like he anchored the number 96 spot on my mic'd up top 100. So as always, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe. If you didn't like the video, if you didn't think Scherff is deserving of a top 100 spot, or if you think he should be higher, say why in the comments. Obviously, I tried to highlight some of the stuff he does well. Maybe you think I missed some stuff. Just toss in the comments, and we can have a good discussion there. But other than that, as I said, make sure you subscribe, because as always, number 95 will be coming out next, and you don't want to miss who it is. Peace, guys.